Giorgia Meloni's expressions were caught on camera as she saw Donald Trump in Ankara, with every glance and reaction scrutinized as a sign of how strained their relationship has become on the world stage. Meloni appeared to turn away from Trump after an apparent eye roll, in what was their first public meeting since their political spat. Meloni and Trump came face-to-face at the NATO summit in Turkey, bringing months of tension into a highly public setting where cameras captured every second of their brief interaction. This was their first public meeting since Trump ignited a diplomatic fight with Italy, turning what might have been a routine summit encounter into a moment loaded with political symbolism. Trump had previously alleged that the Italian Prime Minister begged him for a photo during the G7 summit, a claim Meloni firmly denied. Subsequently, Trump claimed that Italy had refused to give the US access to its bases during the Iran war scenario, portraying Rome as an uncooperative ally. Italy, for its part, has repeatedly maintained that it will not participate in America's war with Iran, stressing its own foreign policy line and its refusal to be drawn into a conflict it does not support.
To discuss the possible reduction of American troops in Europe, he returned to the issue of Orlando. I would like to know if during these minutes we have been the subject of a discussion and if you feel like ruling out a reduction of American troops by 2026. Look, what I can tell you is that no, these two topics were not the subject of our discussion today, which I have to say was a very positive meeting. A bit tentative, but it was a positive and constructive atmosphere of unity, and therefore these issues were not discussed. Regarding the American troops, it was current, and we were not informed. No formal disengagement, after which you know that within NATO there is discussion of burden shifting, that is, how the European allies, the European column of NATO, should take on more responsibility within the territory European, to allow the American column to deploy in other areas that are now considered priorities. The presence of some heads of state and government from the Indo-Pacific region somewhat illustrates how the alliance tries, let's say, to adapt to the new scenarios and new responsibilities. So I don't rule anything out. Clearly, I don't rule anything out, and I believe that, let's say, it shouldn't be a scenario that catches us off guard. Because you know better than I do that the United States has been discussing, under several presidents, the need for a gradual disengagement from Europe, which is not a political disengagement. Disengagement to allow the alliance to be more present in different areas. And as I have told you on many occasions, I also consider this an opportunity for Europe to take greater control of its own affairs. Look, I am obviously very concerned about what is happening in Iran. I think you understand. By ourselves because, and we cannot rule out that this might also spread to the other areas of this delicate region. After that, we are trying to work towards the diametrically opposite direction. That is, I do not lose hope in the possibility of a negotiation in Iran. I believe that so far, let's say, the military option in this case has not brought such concrete results, and I think we must insist on the ability and possibility of a negotiation, and Italy will obviously be committed in this regard. Clearly, negotiations, direct talks between Israel and Lebanon are a fundamental part of this Middle Eastern security architecture. And I think it is great news if it is confirmed that the next round of negotiations will indeed be held in Rome. In the meantime, I consider it great news that the negotiations are progressing.
Good evening. Today, Donald Trump said this morning that Italy has been terrible in the use of the bases. So I ask you if tonight the American government were to ask you again to land a plane at Simonella, an Italian base, that would then participate in kinetic operations in Iran, would you say no again? Would the government say no again? And then a brief comment on the words of Secretary Rutte, who said, regarding the American attack in Iran last night, that it was necessary, a light attack was needed. Do you agree with these words?
I was not at the negotiating table, so I cannot tell you what the right answer to your second question is, because I do not know how much room there really was to proceed with negotiations and how much there wasn't. I can say with certainty that I am therefore unable to answer you on this. As far as the bases are concerned, it is not that we made decisions or choices in such a way, one day doing one thing and another day doing something else. We have had a very clear line from the beginning of the conflict in Iran, and we maintain that line. We have respected our commitments, as serious nations always do. But after that, we said that we would not participate in attacks on Iran, and we are not participating in attacks on Iran, and we will not participate in attacks on Iran.
Meanwhile, at the NATO meeting, Trump said Italy's refusal to join the Iran conflict had soured ties, signaling that he expects closer military cooperation and is unhappy with Rome's independent stance.
Mr. President, your social media post yesterday with respect to Prime Minister Meloni, that True Social post with the restraining order.
Oh, I don't know. I think she's a nice person, actually. We had a bad relationship, but it became a little bad because she refused to help us. Again, I didn't put a heavy press on her, but she refused to get involved with the hormone strain, or you could also say just Iran. She refused to get involved. So it soured my relationship with her a little bit. But I like her. I think she's a nice person, actually. But I think she made a mistake. You know, they get a lot of their oil from them. We don't get any oil. We have a lot of oil. The United States has more oil than anybody. And when you add Venezuela to it, it's like we have far more oil than anybody. We don't need the straits. We do this because we think it's an important thing to do. But she just wasn't there for us. And I wasn't happy about that. You can imagine I wasn't happy about that.
Amid their public fallout, an old clip of the two leaders resurfaced and went viral, giving viewers a chance to re-examine earlier body language for clues about the deterioration in their relationship. In that video, Meloni and Trump shook hands, but many netizens claim she looked uneasy, interpreting her expression and posture as signs that the tension between them has been simmering for some time.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.